Hello friends and welcome to the next video. So this is the Q&A video I was talking about doing a while ago. Finally getting around to doing it. Trying to record at night. We're going to see how that goes. During the day it's like 90 to 100 degrees and my phone just overheats like crazy. So I can't really film in the day anymore. I got a very odd setup. I got like my headlamp up in a tree pointing down at me for the lighting. So I'm gonna see how that goes. I don't know how loud all the crickets and everything are gonna be. I might have to mute that in post production and figure it out. But yeah, figured record at night, see how it goes. Maybe it'll be good. Let's just get into it. These questions are in no particular order, and I have answered them in the past, but figured I'd answer them here. Some of these are actually going to be videos of their own in the future. Where did you sleep and how did you find a place to sleep? So I traveled when I was homeless, and we'll get to the how first. I always made sure to have my phone connected to the internet or have phone service. Like phone service is like unlimited. Everything is 25 bucks a month through Visible, not sponsored, but 25 bucks a month and unlimited everything. Can't beat it. I always had phone service. What I would often do is I would go to Google Maps and I'd go to satellite view and I'd just kind of scan around the area I'm either at or going to be, or when I was traveling long distances, I look ahead and be like, oh, this is a perfect spot to sleep. So, today I'll only walk 7 miles and I'll sleep here. Or, oh, there's another where to sleep for like 20 miles. So I guess I'm walking 20 miles and find a place to sleep. As for where I slept, I was always out of the way where no one could see me because I'm more scared of humans than I am of bears. You put me out here in the woods and there's bears all around, I'm fine with that. It's cool. Like I've woken up to bears, it's no problem. Put me in a city and I'm sleeping somewhere humans are even remotely close, I get freaked out. I just don't want to deal with it. So I always tried to find places where like nobody in their right mind would find me. It didn't always work. Mainly, under bridges was one place. You also shelter from the rain. Although the wind sucks. For those of you who have never slept under a bridge, they're basically a wind tunnel. So if there's any wind, you just get hit full force. Many people talk about cars going by, on top of the bridge. It is loud, but honestly, you get used to it. And I always carried like a sleeping pad with me, or just one of those like 1 inch, not even an inch, foam pads. That was good enough for me. Throw that on the concrete, good. So yeah, under bridges, storm drains whenever it wasn't going to rain, and sometimes even when it did rain, it happens. And then also just out in the woods, like if I'm walking a highway and there's just a big patch of woods right next to me, get in there, just throw my sleeping pad down. If it's gonna rain, throw a tarp up. I never carried a tent. Leads to the second question: did I ever stay in a shelter? Never stayed in a shelter. Never been to a shelter. Never been to like a soup kitchen or anything. None of that. Goes back to my I don't trust humans. I'd rather be in the woods with a bear in a hurricane than in a shelter with humans. Just me. Paranormal activity. I always get this question. You ever experienced any paranormal activity? I wish I could say I have. I'd love to be able to say I have because that'd make a really good story. But no, no paranormal activity. I've seen some creepy things. I remember I was in Mississippi. There's going to be stories sprinkled out in here because why not? I was in Mississippi and I was hiking some trail. I don't remember the trail name. It was a long trail. And I remember there was one point I was like 30 miles away from like civilization. Still had phone service, so I wasn't completely out there, but there were no towns or anything. And I'm walking down the trail and I'm night hiking because I love night hiking. I'd rather hike at night than in the day. It's just very soothing to me. And I come across this tree with like Christmas lights and weird like pagan ornaments and stuff, like pentagrams and whatnot. And that was really creepy. And it wasn't like, a Christmas tree. It was just a regular tree with Christmas lights. They weren't lit up, of course. There's no power out on this trail anywhere. So I don't know why there's Christmas lights. And there's just these little pagan ornaments all over the tree. And I'm in the middle of nowhere. And I took a picture and I sent it in a group chat with some of my friends so I could have service. I wish I could flip that picture, but it has lost the time. And I remember I sent them my location along with that picture. I'm like, hey, if I go missing, the Satanists, they got me. I am a sacrifice. How did I make money for food and my phone and etc.? Made me work. Which kind of leads to the next question. How did I get work? Right? There's kind of two questions in one. I just asked. How did I get work? I just asked. Or, many times I didn't even have to ask. People just drove up on me. You want to make a few bucks? Heck yeah, I'll make a few dollars. Like I saw a U-Haul van, walk up to the people, be like, hey, you need help unloading or loading? And, 9 times out of 10, person's going to say no. But, 1 out of 10 times I make $100. And I'm paying $25 a month for my phone, and that's my only bill. And then food is I'm living off peanut butter, right? This is like $20 a week, if that, 10, $20 a week. So $100 gets me through like a month. U-Haul vans, construction sites, landscaping, any kind of manual labor where I can just be like, hey, I got a strong back. Just what do you want me to do? There's a moth swarming my head wall. Okay. So yeah, if like you want to make money, even if you're homeless like me, just ask. If you're willing to work for it, someone's going to give you an opportunity. What breed is Jayde? My puppy dog. Jayde is a Belgian Malinois. She is a living, breathing tornado. That's all I got to say. Absolutely crazy nutball of a dog. And I wouldn't trade her for the world. Does Jayde get to run around the forest? Yeah, so I did my video about my camp and everything. And a couple people asked, because I built a little kennel for her, she spend all her time in that kennel, or she gets to go out? She gets to run out and play all the time, every day. Just let her out, and she runs up the trees. Literally, I'm not exact. She will run up the trees in like 10 feet into the tree, just hang from a branch. It's ridiculous. Chasing squirrels, chasing rabbits, chasing lizards. She loves chasing lizards. Yeah, she gets to run around and play. I have to keep her to back here, back at this certain part of the property, because I want to say 100 yards or so down that way, there's a donkey, and Jayde wants to be best friends with the donkey. The donkey does not want to be best friends with Jayde, so I gotta make sure to keep her over here, and also make sure she doesn't, chase down a deer. I think if like a deer backed up on her, she'd probably take it down, or she'd want to be best friends with it. I don't know, honestly know. What do you listen to while walking, if anything? If I'm hiking a trail, 9 times out of 10, I'm not listening to any music. I'm just taking it easy. If I'm walking down a highway, a road, as long as it's not like a sketchy road and it's not at night, sometimes I'll listen to music. Sometimes I'll listen to podcasts, whatever I'm in the mood for. Sometimes nothing at all. Depends on how I'm feeling. Yeah, sometimes listen to music, podcasts while I'm walking. Just never in nature and never at night. How do I carry water on long hike? So I had one of those, oh my goodness, I forgot the name, survival straws. So I actually had it was a water bottle that had one of the survival straws like connected to it. You could unattach the actual straw part of it. Use that to drink. River water, creek water. When I was in the desert, that was a little different because obviously there's not as much water. And I would carry one of those camelbacks. The actual name of them is eluding me. I think it might be called a camelback. but they slide into your backpack, and normally they have like a tube that comes out where you can drink. I never used a tube or anything like that, like drink while I walked. But I'd fill it up, and my backpack had a compartment for it. I put it down in there. I also had a collapsible 1 gallon bucket thing. Oh, where did I get that? I think I got it from Amazon. Yeah, I had like a 1 gallon collapsible bucket thing. I don't remember ever using it. I bought it because like, I'm gonna fill this up with water. I'm gonna use it. I think I used it one time and it was awkward, and then I just kept using the camel pack. Or I might have got the camel pack after that. I don't remember. When I was walking in the desert, normally the longest I would go in between some form of civilization would be 75 to 100 miles. That was mainly in Texas and Arizona, although in Texas it was cold. But in Arizona, there were some long hikes, and so I just fill it up at gas station. Just walk in. Hey, can I fill this up with tap water, please? No, of course, go for it. Yeah, that's how I got water and carried it. I was just talking about buying something on Amazon. How does a homeless guy buy stuff on Amazon? I get this question so many times because I always talk about, I got this from Amazon. Amazon has a service it's called Lockers or something like that. Amazon Hub Lockers, I think is the official name. But basically, you can order something. Some things are exempt, like large lithium-ion batteries are exempt. You can't order them through the service. And some really large products you can't. But basically, you can order something, and it gets delivered to a locker at a gas station or a Whole Foods, or sometimes packages just get delivered to a place of business, and you can walk in and grab it, and you show them a little code. You get emailed a code. You show them the code from your phone, or if it's a locker, you'll get a passcode. You just punch that number in, locker opens, and you grab your package, and you're good. Any experience with drugs? Yes. Not recently, thankfully. So I'll just go through my entire history of drugs. So I had my first beer when I was 12. Absolutely hated it. Completely hated it. Told myself, hey, I'm never drinking beer again. And then when I was, I think, 14, maybe 15, I smoked weed for the first time, and yeah, it was all right. Started hanging out with what many people would say is a bad crowd, but honestly, it wouldn't change the times I had for the world. We were smoking weed. Yeah, by the time I was 16, I was doing pain pills, and then I got kicked out of the mall for marijuana. I got caught with weed, and I got like banned from the mall. And then like a week later, I got caught with weed in school, expelled from high school. I had to do probation, get piss tested, and I quit weed. I was like, this is kind of dumb. I'm just not going to do this anymore. So I just didn't do weed anymore. Weed was never something I really liked all that much. It was more of all my friends are doing it, so I'm just going to do it. But like when I got like put on probation, I had to do drug tests and everything. It didn't affect me at all. It'd be like, if anything, now I got an excuse not to smoke weed. I did end up smoking weed again when I was like 18 years old. And I don't know what happened. Something changed from the time I was 16 to the time I was 18. Weed just it completely screws my head up now. Like completely, it makes me completely paranoid, and it's uncomfortable. It's extremely uncomfortable. After I got expelled, I just stopped doing everything. I would drink every now and then, as a teenager, but no problems. Then when I became 19 years old, I got addicted to pain pills, hydrocodone, and that was an adventure, not a fun adventure. I'm gonna do an entire video on that. Ended up quitting pills when I was 21. Also, while I was doing the pills, I was doing that, what was it, K2 or K3 crap. I don't know why. I was just an idiot. But yeah, I quit pills when I was like 21 years old. And then I went all the way until I was like 32. And then I had like a 1 month stint with hard liquor. And I was like, oh, this is really stupid. And then I put the hard liquor down, and I haven't done any other drugs since. I mean, I have done, in between all that, I have experimented with like LSD and mushrooms, but eh, I don't know, drugs just not my thing. It's just not my thing. Never was my thing. Most dangerous thing while you're living out in the woods. Humans. Many people will think that's a joke, but that's not a joke. Humans are definitely the most dangerous thing. I've woken up to bears and I've woken up to alligators, and they have never hurt me. Humans, on the other hand, I did a video about the dude who tried to threaten me with a machete and all that stuff. So yeah, no, humans definitely the scariest thing. But that might not be a satisfying answer. So I will also say the weather. The weather can be absolutely terrifying. Whenever you're homeless, or like how I am now, living out here in the woods, and you're at the mercy of the weather, it's scary, right? Like I've through my time being homeless, I've been hit with hurricanes and tornadoes and hail, and when you don't have the real place to go, that's terrifying. Now, luckily, I always looked ahead on my weather app, and I was able to be in a town with be in a fairly large town when those situations occur. Besides for the hail in Arizona, which was just out of nowhere. I'm just walking in the middle of the Arizona desert and it starts hailing. I need someone to explain that to me. But yeah, the weather is, you're at the mercy of Mother Nature. Any injuries while walking? Yeah, yeah, it happens. I twisted an ankle a few times. I remember one time in Texas. So I have sciatica. Oh, let me back up. When I was working in WVU, when I was 22 years old and I was working in WVU as a material handler, I pulled my back really bad, lifting up a box. Basically, what happened was I pinched my sciatic nerve. It was the worst pain of my life, man. Absolute worst pain I've ever had. I could not move. And ever since then, about once every year, 2 years, something like that, my sciatic nerve will get pinched. I don't know why it happens now, but it's a semi regular thing, like I said, every year or two. And I remember I'm walking in Texas and I felt it. I could feel the nerve pinching. And it was just like that. Well, it wasn't like that. It about 3 minutes. It took about 3 minutes to the point where I couldn't feel the right half of my body, just completely numb. And I'm on the side of a highway, and I can no longer walk. Literally, I cannot walk. And it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Luckily, I came to, it was like an underpass. It was like a storm drain underpass. It wasn't like a roadway underpass. And I kind of hobbled down there. And I remember I look up and it's down a hill. And I'm like, okay, nobody can see me right now. And I just yeah. And I just collapsed on my side. Still got my backpack on and everything. And didn't even take my backpack off. And I'm just laying sideways like this with my backpack on. And I laid there for a good 24 hours. I did not move from that spot. I didn't even get into the underpass. I'm just on the side of a road, down a hill. Cars can't see me though. And I just lay there for like 24 hours. And after about 24 hours, I'm still in excruciating pain. I managed to go into the tunnel when I'm able to sit up instead of like laying down. I get my backpack off and everything. And luckily I had some food and water on me at the time. And I waited it out for like 3 days, just under that underpass for 3 days. I ran out of food after like the first day, so for 2 days I didn't eat. Luckily, I had a good bit of water on me, and it was in Texas. It was in the beginning of my or it was at the end of the Texas trip, so it was kind of winter, so it was pretty cold. I didn't have to worry about dehydration as bad. I mean, yeah, for like just 3 days, I'm under that underpass. My entire right side is numb. excruciating pain. And eventually I'm like, okay, I just gotta get up and start walking. I start walking and it hurts so bad. It wasn't as bad as, the first day, but oh, it was so bad. Finally, I got to a small town and I got some food and I just chilled out in that town for like 2 weeks. So, yeah, that was the worst injury. Other than that, a few twisted ankles. Obviously, when I fell off a cliff, I banged up my wrist real bad, banged up my ankle real bad, but nothing too serious, luckily. So that's good. Favorite state? I get this question so much. I'm always gonna go with West Virginia, but obviously I'm biased on that one. But we'll also say like Texas was really great, and I will stand on this hill that outside of the major cities, California is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful state outside the cities. San Diego ain't too bad. I'm pretty cool with San Diego. But yeah, California, it's beautiful. There's so many trails to hike, so much to see. Yeah, it's a beautiful state. Just stay away from any big city. Do I plan on traveling again? So, walking is out of the question because I've got Jayde, and you know, Jayde would absolutely love to like walk across the country. Oh, that would be heaven for her. She has that much energy. But I don't want to. I find myself in very sticky situations, being lost on a mountain in, negative whatever degree weather, for example, while a blizzard is happening. Right? Like that's happened more than once to me. So, I don't want to take Jade out and risk having a situation like that, or anything else. We're walking the Louisiana Trail in a hurricane. Right, right. If it's just me, that's fun for me. I love that. But you know, I don't want to put Jade in any danger. So walking's out of the question. Van life, definitely something I want to do. I'm hoping to save up for a van. Uh, I'm trying to save up for a van, hoping to get that soonish. But yeah, van life, that would be dope. 'Cause me and Jade could just go anywhere. How do you keep your stuff from being stolen? Never let go of it. That's the best thing to do. Just never let go of it. Whenever I went to sleep for the night, my backpack was my pillow. I just put it out and put my head on it. I slept right on top of my backpack. That's really all there is to it. Never leave your stuff with another person. Never leave your stuff, in a hiding spot. Somebody will find it. I can guarantee you somebody will find it. Just always never let go of it. What do I miss most about having a home? That's a good question. And my answer is going to sound absolutely ridiculous. I miss having a blender. So from the time I was about 22 years old until I went off on my homeless journey, every morning I had a green smoothie. Spinach, almond milk, strawberries, an apple, banana, chia seeds. Yeah, I switched it up every now and then, put some other stuff in there. And just every single day, a green smoothie. That was my breakfast. And it gave me a bunch of energy and absolutely loved it. But now I don't have a blender. And yeah, it sounds stupid, but a blender is the thing I miss the most. And, obviously also being able to keep fresh produce. Yeah. Even if I have a little generator out here, like a little solar generator, but even if I bought a blender, you know, I bought strawberries, that they would be bad in a day. What are you gonna do? One day, I'll just move to Alaska, and then the entire outdoors will be my refrigerator. That's a joke. I'm not gonna move to Alaska. I'm not doing into the wild thing. Oh, what's the best thing to donate to a homeless person? Socks. It sounds stupid, but socks. Especially if there's someone who's traveling a lot. I go through socks. Even now, when I'm, not walking 20 or 30 miles a day, socks only last me like a week, if that. So, and, food's always a good thing. What's your experience been like with police? Never a bad experience. I've had some experience where, like, I feel like the cops are having a panic attack, but no, I've always had good experiences. What I mean by that is, like, for example, when I was in Virginia, and it was like really cold and windy, and all that experience happened. Cop pulled over, was like, "Are you okay? It's freezing cold out here. You're walking on the side of the highway." I was super concerned for my safety. Like, he was having a panic attack for my safety. But other than that, like, no bad experiences. Nothing but good experiences or neutral experiences at worst. That's just I just do whatever the cops tell me to do. Like, if I'm chilling, charging my phone up, and they walk up like, "Hey, I can't be here." She's like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave." And plus, I'm never in a single town for an extended period of time, so cops like, "Oh, he's gonna be gone in a day," so just leave him alone. Just gonna let him do his thing. Oh, what's my experience been like with other homeless people? Good and bad. Some of them try to kill you with a machete. Some of them try and help you get work and make money. It's just how it is. Uh, More good than bad, as with most things in life. There's more good people than bad people. But yeah, being honest, tend to kind of avoid just I just avoid people in general. So that is how it is. More good experiences, bad experiences. There's just obviously the bad experiences stick with you more. Are you ever going back to a normal life? I don't know what a normal life is. What is a normal life in 2026? Is it 2020? I don't even know what year. I'm probably not going back to what society deems as a normal life. This is boring. I'd rather be out here chilling, or in a van, just going from town to town. I mean, I'm sure eventually I'd like to get like a piece of property, like a cheap. I'm talking like a $10,000 piece of property, and just build a little cabin and chill for a bit. That'd be nice. But that's about it. How's a homeless guy get a girlfriend? I have gotten this question so many times because I've mentioned it in like past live streams and even some of my videos. And like I've had a couple girlfriends in the past 5 years of being homeless. And to answer the question, I don't know. No clue. Meet somebody, that be myself, and sometimes it happens. There's no real secret to it, and I don't understand it myself. But yeah, sorry I can't give like a good answer on that, but that's just how it is. Have I ever traveled with somebody else? And if not, would I? No, I've never traveled with somebody else. Would I? I was going to a couple times, the opportunities there, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then the other person didn't want to do it and backed out. With the right person, yeah, but it'd have to be somebody I knew pretty good. But yeah, if it's the right person, yeah, I travel, but don't really care. Honestly, happy alone. I got Jade. That's all I need. Did I ever feel like giving up? Yeah, of course. Everybody, at some point, feels like giving up. It's just human nature. Yeah, it wasn't just like one time or two times, many times, right? When I was in Fancy Gap in that little shack, and I feel like I have frostbite and I'm freezing to death. Yeah, I felt like giving up. When I was on top of that mountain in the blizzard, it's like, yeah, no, I wanted to give up then too. And then when I fell off that cliff, I did give up. Everyone wants to give up sometimes, and sometimes giving up's the best thing to do. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I hope that was a good answer. not like a downer answer. I don't know. Like to me, it's just normal, but I can see how somebody could perceive that being like a real, a kind of down answer. Like, oh, that's you know, a maybe pessimist outlook. It's not meant to be, but I can understand how somebody could perceive that. Has the way I see society changed? Yes, but actually the opposite of what you might think. I feel like the way we look at society is everyone thinks the majority of people are like superficial. Like, ooh, everybody's on the Instagram following Kim Kardashian or whoever the popular celebrity of the week is. I don't know celebrities. I'm going to pretend Kim Kardashian is the most popular person alive. Like, oh, Kim is so rich. And like, we think everyone else is seeing that and saying that and all that stuff. But then when I went homeless, I realized nobody thinks that. Nobody feels that way. Nobody thinks Kim Kardashian. I mean, some people do, obviously, but the vast majority of people, they don't like look up to the celebrities or look up to the oh, you got to be rich to be happy, whatever. Like 99.9% of people I meet, it's like, I don't care that much about money. I don't care that much about fame. I don't care about this celebrity person, right? Like we think, or at least I do. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I think most of the internet would agree with me. Like we perceive society as like idolizing these pop stars or these rich people or fancy lives, all that stuff. But in reality, 99% of people don't, and that's actually pretty comforting. Like since going homeless, I realized society is actually better than what I thought it was when I wasn't homeless. Figure that one out. Have I ever experienced trail magic? Absolutely. For those of you who don't know, trail magic is kind of this idea that if you're hiking a trail, sometimes you'll find something that you need. And the way this works is maybe I'm walking a trail and I've got this giant. Well, what are those fancy things called? The Stanley things. And I got this giant Stanley thing, and I realized this is very impractical for hiking. And so I set it down on the side of the trail. And somebody else comes along and they see that Stanley thing and they're like, hey, I really like that Stanley thing. And they take that Stanley thing. And that's kind of trail magic. And obviously, sometimes things are accidentally left behind. For example, I found a trekking pole on one of my hikes in West Virginia. It's off the side of the trail. I kind of waited around for like 30 minutes because, I didn't want to risk like stealing somebody's stuff if they were coming back or whatnot. But after like 30 minutes, nobody showed up. So I was like, I got a trekking pole. And that trekking pole lasted me from West Virginia all the way to Georgia, where it was stolen because I broke my own rule and, I put it in a hiding spot where nobody would ever look. And, somebody's. But also, that's kind of trail magic for them. Hopefully, whoever took it was, I mean, I can't really say they stole it because I just put it in some bushes, you know. They could have just been walking by, like, ooh, there's a trekking pole. Just like I was, like, walking on the side of the trail, being like, ooh, there's a trekking pole. See, they didn't steal it. Okay, let's not say that. Yeah, trail magic for them, except it was in, like, Valdosta, Georgia, which is like a concrete jungle. So, yeah, like a lot of trail magic. I found, like, food along trails. I don't know, most people wouldn't consider this trail magic, but I'm gonna talk about it anyway. When I was in Arizona walking, under almost every single bridge, I was in the southern part of Arizona. Under almost every single bridge, there was a 1 gallon jug of water, and it had aqua written on it. Uh, I'm pretty sure the idea is, people jumping the border, coming to America, and these are just like spots where Other people were putting water for them. So yeah, I came across that. Never drank it because I'm not going to drink water. Somebody else put I don't know what's in there. So I never drank it, but here's the thing. How am I getting to Tennessee? That's a great question. I wanted to be up there by now. Right now, what I'm trying to do is get my driver's license and just find a car and drive up there. But getting a driver's license is not fun when you're homeless. To be clear, I have a driver's license. It's expired, right? But in order to get it, I need two proofs of residency, like an electric bill. I ain't getting no electric out here, nor a water bill. I ain't getting no water out here. The workaround for this is to go to a homeless shelter and they let you use their address and yada yada yada. There ain't a homeless shelter within like 100 miles of me that does that. I'll figure it out. Are you happier now than before you were homeless? 100% yes. Not much to add. I stopped caring about like material things. I learned to appreciate the very small things in life, like the crickets. I can just kick back and relax on some days and put in some work on other days and do things on my own schedule. And it's really nice. Living life how I want to live it, not how some corporation wants me to live it. And then the final question: was it worth it? I mean, I kind of just answered it, but yes, yes. Every decision I made was absolutely worth it. Every single decision, even the bad ones, and I made so many of them. And I wouldn't change them because every decision I made has led me to this spot right here, and I am happy right now. So why would I want to change it? Even if I could go back and make a different decision, you know, butterfly effect. I get hit by a bus, I'm dead, right? That's a thing that could happen if I changed one little thing. So yeah, it was worth it because I'm happy. I learned a lot of stuff. But that's gonna do it for today. If you want to support me, links are in the description. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you, Patreons. Peace out.